Alright, hi guys. Well, we're back to working on our project here. This is the W.B.Davis and Company, and we're going to continue where we kind of left off. And we had left off with the building done and the walls done. Now it's time to finish some of the detail stuff and get the building built to what we need to do. Start out with where I left off. I got to do the doors for here. We got to make those by cutting out this template. So might as well get this done a while. Hopefully I don't bore you guys. Get this cut. Right across the bottom. That set in place. Best thing to do here is take this tape. And have to put our tape on it. Let's see here. Cut this whole thing out. Being very careful with the scissors. Get a decent cut on it. Just take my time. It's nice as they give you a template to cut it out, plus then all the little drill holes for all the bolt holes you got to put in it yet. And we'll be putting them little bolts in. We'll glue them all into place. Alright. We'll take this tape. Whoa, run away. Take this tape, put this on the bottom, like so. We got our piece of plastic that'll go here. Tape that right on the bottom. Keep it in place. Cut two pieces for the sides. Hold that down. Put one right here. Tap that over. Slice off another piece. Put that on the other side. This will get it sitting down nice and flat. Then we have to take the scissors and follow it out very carefully. Try to do it nice and easy so we get it fairly smooth. And then what we'll do is we'll get that. It looks pretty good. Gotta clean it up a little. I think we got a file over here. We like to make it as perfect as can be. We take our file and there's a file around it and get it cleaned up pretty good. This allows you to follow those edges a little better, make it look smoother. That'll be the door. It'll be going on that way. Cut that down in half. once we put the rivets in. Get my drill bits out. We'll be back in a few minutes. Alright, now that I'm back, I got my micro drill. I'll drill that out for these little itty bitty, teeny weeny little bolts that'll go in each one of these holes. So what I do is I got this nice little flat piece of wood. I like that so I'm not drilling into my table or my little work surface there. And we'll go through and each one of these little X's will drill them all out and put the little bolts in. And as you can see, that's why I put that there so I'm not drilling into my table. This will take me a little bit to do. Hopefully it ain't boring you guys. But as you guys know, we're back to doing our train shop weekly. We're not running around like crazy people now with doing stuff for the shop, and my brother doing the 150th anniversary stuff for the town. Kind of gets us a little freed up now that we are back doing the train shop weekly. We're not running off everywhere trying to get everything done. I get a little more time now to get back to some of my buildings and some of the stuff that I've been working on, and get to relax a little more. And doing these buildings, I enjoy doing the buildings. Even if I don't put them on my layout, I just enjoy building the buildings. And as far as this one will get built up and it'll be put away with some of the others that will be for the next layout that we do. And when we do the next layout, either I'll use them, I'll have them all ready to go, or I'll wind up down the road selling them off if we don't use them on our new layout down the road. But that's my intention. I have a lot of kits that are craftsman kits like this. Some of them will get incorporated into the layout and make changes on the layout. It all depends on what we do. These are coming along pretty good. You can see I'm going through them pretty quick. The holes come through on the other side very nice. It's nice having this taped down nice and tight for the template so that it doesn't move on you. As long as you follow the holes they got, you'll have it nice and straight. Makes it a lot easier going through with this little drill bit, kind of blowing through it, no problem. I think it's going to be a bigger pain putting them little nuts and bolts in here. I know they were a pain in the neck putting them on the walls, as I had to put them in the walls and with the buckles, and they weren't easy. Alright. One more hole to go. Right there. That one all the way through. Alright. Get them all done. Now we can take this template. I don't want to take it off yet. I still need to cut this in half carefully. I might as well do that right now. Get my scissors here. Get to the center line. Give a nice swift cut. Now we got the two doors. We can pull the tape off now and take the template off. I might have to save that template for down the road for something else. We got that all drilled out as per directions, and that'll be the back side of the bolts for those hinges. Alright. Yeah, we got them done. Now, find the tweezers here. There's a pair of tweezers. One of these bolts off. Had it off from when I was checking the drill bit size. I'm going to put them in. That's what they'll look like. It's extremely small, but that's what it'll be. And fill each one of those holes. So let me get that. I'll take each of them. I'll get down to the last couple and I'll show you how I glue them in. Alright, we're down to the last part of the door here. And like I say, these little bolts they're very much a pain in the neck to put in. I did lose one. I thought I had extras, but I don't. And they are quite a pain to glue in. So one door is going to be one short. On the outer, they get these eye bolts. That's what they would use to put a bar through and lock the doors at night when they're closed. Get them in. There will be one rivet here short. And I'll have to order a packet of them online, and I'll have to place that in at a later date. But that's okay. I can deal with that. I do know that these are made by Grant Line in Tichy, and you can still find them online. And these little hog rings, little rings they got here, you put them in, they act as a door bar where post would get put in when the door is shut to lock it. And it looks like with these the hole's got to be slightly bigger. So I get my drill set out here. And it looks like we got to go. We had a 70 in there now. I think if I take this 67 and drill that out with that, might be just enough to clear. Yeah, that'll do it. I'll open these holes up a little. Just kind of doing this the quick way. I don't feel like taking the time to put it in my little hand pin vise. They're already pre-drilled, so they're not too bad. Yeah, look at that, spins. Oh. It's not like it's a major amount of holes to open up. these little drill index kits are nice to have. You can pick them up like at a place like ours at Henning's Trains. You can get a little drill index kit. We sell a lot of the micro tools and stuff, which are great to have, and especially in our type of hobby. You know, whether you use it on building a building or you're doing little fine detail work on say you're putting some detail parts on a car or something like that, or drilling out for little headlights and stuff. That didn't take long to put the drill bit back so it doesn't get lost. And yeah, we'll glue these little rings in now that I started on, but the holes were a little too small for the rings because the rings were slightly bigger. And that looks like that'll do it. Yeah, that went in there nice. Position that up so it's straight across. Right. Little things are real bugger to grab a hold of. Just trying to take my time. A little bit of flashing on there and knock that off. Alright, got our next door pin in. Got to line it up so it's straight up and down. And the last one on the bottom for this door. Alright, that'll be that door. And we got this door and that door. One by one. Getting this last door pin in. Get the last one glued in here. Oh, no. Don't sink. Almost lost that completely in the glue. Like I said, these things are not easy. It doesn't matter how experienced you are at putting models together. Some of this stuff is tough. But you just got to take the time and overcome it. Alright, we got all that done. Now on the back side, it kind of looks like a porcupine. You just want to take your razor knife and just go along and clip them off just by like shaving it. And shave them all off, makes it nice and smooth. Cleans it up real nice. Not that we're really going to see it when the door is on there and painted up, but that's where the door will go. And as you can see, that was a pretty good cut because that door actually fits in there fairly nice. So we'll wind up gluing that. We'll put a spacer on it. Get this other one. Shave this down. And that door is ready for that side. Yeah. side. We'll get them painted in the brown. Alright, put that away. Put the drills away. Go over in the tool bin. Alright, be back in a bit and we'll do the next step. Okay guys, back to the doors. I had just done a video on how to do the doors, but apparently it didn't record it while I was doing this. But the doors have been finished being painted. What I did was I made these little pieces up to look like hinges, so they look like these other hinges on these doors. This way then the door doesn't sit flat against the wall. It actually has some spacing behind it, as you can see. If you notice in the background here, you can see I cut the floor out. And the reason I did that is I found this neat little shadow box, and I assembled this a while back, and I've had it sitting and I didn't use it. So I decided for this particular project I'd cut it out. So I cut the floor out and it fits really nice. Now what I got to do is I got to replaster this little break in here. So I'll mix up a little bit of plaster. I'll fill that in and show you guys how that goes. Alright, I mixed up in this, it's one of these little things you get electrical tape in. I mixed up a little bit of plaster. What we'll do is we'll take it and I'll use that to fill in this little bit of flooring here. And I'll just go lightly on it. And we'll pull that piece out. I'll clean the little bit of wood up. But this way then I know we got a nice tight fill in here. Work that up there. I need to get some on the other edge of the spatula. Get it up on that corner. We'll fill that in really nice. That really takes care of that chunk I knocked out. This is going to look really nice up against the tracks when I get done. Got that in. Take my finger, we'll wipe that down a little. Now, that's all I needed to fill in that little crack. Take this out. Clean that off. Grab a rag here. This way then we don't have the plaster up on our step. That should look pretty good. Got a little bit of a dip in there. Try to fill that in really nice. I figure they'll probably use a pallet jack or a forklift for this company. Don't know. But there, that's all filled in. We'll let that sit and dry. And the next project I'm going to do on this, and I've already cut this out. This is going to be for the floor. Let's see. I'm going to do a floor, being you got all these windows that you can look into. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this up in here like this. And I've got all these coffee stirrers. I bought a box of coffee stirrers at the dollar store. It's a big, huge box of stirrers. So what I'm going to do next is I am going to wind up making my wood floors for this. And I'll do this whole piece of foam core. I'll make up all my wood floors for here. And then we'll glue that all in place. So I'll be a while putting down flooring, and we'll get back to you towards the end. All right, kind of getting back to this project here. I did finally get the doors mounted, and I got the hinges done. And since the last couple days, I glued in my little shadow box, and then I glued in the sections for the floor section that I was building. I did put that on a piece of foam. It kind of warped a little, but I think we'll get the straightened out. I want to get that glued up in here like this. And I was thinking about it, looking at my walls here. When we go up, there'll be another section for a second floor. In this building, they don't have floors in it, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the second floor in, which means I got to build a set of steps. And I think they would have had a freight elevator in a building like this, being that the lower floor and the upper floors are kind of different. So what I'm going to do, I believe in this corner here, up in here, I'm going to build a service elevator right up in here. And then over in here, I'm going to get, I got a set of stringers for steps. And I think I'm going to build steps up to the upper level and do the enclosure and everything for that, so that when you look in, you do see the doorway to the steps and so forth to the next floor. And then you see them from the top of the third floor. So this is where I'm at. I'll get this glued in, get some stuff down on top of this, and we'll have to go from there. But I think what I need to do is figure out some holes for lighting. I do want to add a light underneath here to light up that part of the building. And then I'm going to build rafters up in the top on this next floor. I'll have to build some rafters across, give it that industrial look with some industrial lighting. I don't know if I should leave it as all one floor. That's been debatable. I got to do a little more thought on this, but I believe that's what I'm going to do, is put the second floor up and go from there with that. I'll keep you informed on where we're at. Okay, well, I've been pegging away at this. I got my lighting hooked in for this little shadow box. I've got my wires for my upper lighting done. I cut a hole over here where my wire is going to go through, but this is going to be an elevator shaft, and I'm going to do steps over here for the third floor. So I got to get this glued in now. I got my wire set, and I'll build an elevator shaft for here. So what I want to do, I use the Tidy Bond, glue this in, and then we got to wait for it to dry, so that'll probably be by tomorrow. I'll get back to it again. Like I say, I do a little bit here and a little bit there. Unfortunately, I don't get to tape everything all the time. So that should hold this floor in. I'll put some weight on it, weigh it down so that it dries nice. And just actually take these glue bottles and put them down on it. And maybe a couple things of paint, bottle of alcohol. We'll let this thing dry up overnight, and I'll show you the next step. I'll work on getting the steps together, and we'll go from there. Alright, now that we got this going, one of the things I wanted to show you is if you look at the building there with the light, and that illuminates it pretty nice. So I wanted to show you guys that. So that works pretty good with the light. Now what I want to do is I need to get 3 of the 4 walls up so that I can go and do my second floor level. Basically that'll be right above these windows, and that'll be the second floor here, because we got the basement, first floor and second floor. So we'll get these glued up in place where they need to be. I actually glue the 3 walls, but I'll use 4 walls to. There's the front wall. That's been done for a while, which actually looks really good. But we'll get these glued up in place. And like I say, this is the first floor here. Ground level will actually come up above this building and then drop down the side of the building when we're done. So I want to get these glued on. And again, use my Tidy Bond. This stuff is good glue for these wood and plaster projects. This is a Hydrocal building, and I do know I'm going to be painting the inside walls on this particular building because it will be highly visible. And I just want to make sure that, alright, I'll make sure that it's as nice as I can possibly build it, that's for sure. Square that up right there, that there. Bring that brick mortar to there. Follow my mortar joints down. Once this inside wall dries, then I will go and paint the inside walls. Put a little bit of glue down, get her glued in place. Kind of feeling everything out. This one I will set in place to make sure that everything is set right. Okay, I got all my walls taped up right where they need to be. And this back wall's not glued, it's just taped in place to hold everything where it needs to be. I ran a bead of glue up through the corners and along the bottom floors. Actually, I got one more here to do. I forgot this side. We got all our walls filled in as needed. Let the glue dry. That'll dry clear overnight. Add a second coat in one spot there. So we'll leave this dry overnight, and I'll come back to it. We'll pull the back wall off, and then we'll work on the flooring for the next floor and the elevator shaft. Alright, next night here, now that our walls have dried, we'll pull all this tape off. This is the loose wall on the back, which we can set out of the way. Now what I can do is I can build the floor and the stairs and the elevator shaft over here. That's the next part of my project. So, as you can see, that's where we're at. And, I'll be cutting rafters to go across. So I'll make that, and I'll show you where I'm at with that. I'll get them set up, and we'll go from there. I'll have to pre-cut everything. That'll be a while. Okay. Some of you may be looking at it and say, hey, he didn't wait for us. Well, I sat things together. I didn't glue it. I actually